Well, good day, everybody. Welcome back to Shining Empathy. My name is Joel, and this is your full moon reading for Sunday, July 9th, 2017. Now, it's time-wise, Eastern Standard Time, it's going to go full at 12:07 a.m. So if you're seeing this when I'm uploading it, which is Saturday, July 8th, it's actually going to be tonight that you'll see the full moon. So look out for that. Just to touch base on full moon cycles, new moon cycles. Full moon has to do with things kind of coming to completion, or the energy sort of coming to a peak. All the introspective, kind of yang energy required to get an idea flowing or a project started begins with the new moon. Oh, sorry, I meant yin, not yang, sorry. All that yin energy that's required starts more with the new moon. And as we get closer to the full moon, we get more of the yang energy, more of the action, more of just more of the action required to bring things physically into manifestation. So bearing that in mind, this reading for the full moon, we'll see what it has to say for everybody. Going to set the intention that this is for everyone watching the video, that they get some message for the full moon cycle. The pen is down here. That should do it, hopefully. Yeah, right there, I think. All right. So, let's have a look. All right, interesting, I was talking about the yin energy. So when the yin and yang comes up, and it comes up in the upright position, it does tend to lean more towards the yin side of the energy. So that is playing a part in this full moon cycle. All right, so right in the center of everything is us in the role of the healer. This can mean so many different things. It doesn't just necessarily mean, hey, I'm a doctor, I heal people, or hey, I studied Reiki and I am a Reiki practitioner or a Reiki master. It's not quite that literal necessarily. It can mean much more the healing that we require for ourselves, that we're finally giving to ourselves. So when we embody the healer, we are healing ourselves. It can also just mean that in our day-to-day lives, we start popping into more of the role of the healer. People need our help. You just find people coming to you and asking for your guidance, or even just an ear, shoulder to cry on, whatever it is, but you just sort of embody more of the role of the healer when this guy comes up. But I mean, he is, he's got sort of a Jesus vibe about him there, so he's a very powerful healer. So whatever it is that we're in the role of right now is, it's not lighthearted. It's not like we're just making some little tiny tweaks in our lives here. We're making some big changes because major healing is required here. Okay. Part of that is turning away from something, walking away from it. We're being guided to new horizons, things that are just, they're no longer serving us. That we've just maybe been giving too much of our energy to. We are now being asked, being in the role of the healer here, we are now being asked to turn away from that for our healing and maybe for the healing of the people around us, okay? That is in the center of everything going on here. It's the root of this full moon, of the situations that are happening right now. The catalyst for this is contract. Oh, contract can be so many things. Before I even get into it, I'm going to pop another card here. Okay. So contract can be very literal. It can be literally something that you're putting your name to, signing onto paper, a marriage certificate, a new lease, a new job contract, whatever the case may be, but it can be very literal. I also find that it has a very justice, karma kind of feel to this card as well, and it can often read that way too. But either way, even if it was a contract coming into our lives, there's this feeling of the scales are being balanced, and you're getting what you need, or you're getting what karma dictates that you need. Whether it's good for you or bad for you is only for you to decide upon looking back at the situation. But this contract is sort of like an opportunity that's come along here, okay? And it's giving us great anxiety. It's stressing us out. Whether this is work, relationships, home, whatever this is, this contract, or this blind karma justice thing that's happening here, it is stressing us out. And it has been the catalyst for us to embody the role of the healer here, to do the healing that we need to do, and to walk away from the situation. Okay? Sorry, I apologize for the sirens. Always going on in Toronto. So, down here at the bottom in our growth spot is yin, as I said. So, much more of the yin energy. It just essentially means that as far as what has grown in this situation is our ability to work with those energies and to make decisions. Maybe we've made choices, but we haven't taken any action, you know? So maybe that's what it's talking about here. Let's have a look. Yeah, this is, so immediately rest and rejuvenation, which is very much a meditation, introspection, turning inward to find out what's going on inside of us, okay? Whether that's emotional or more psychological or spiritual, whatever it is, but we're turning into ourselves to get some answers right now. And that's in our growth spot. So we have been, as a result of this all stress and stuff, we have been turning into ourselves to get some answers, all right? Which, you know, would explain why we're making decisions that we need to heal ourselves, and we're knowing that we need to walk away from something. Now, this doesn't surprise me either. It's just falling right in line with everything else that's happening here. But it is in our challenge spot. So what it's saying is that the door to healing and personal healing and happiness, which is essentially what I was talking about here, being in the role of the healer to give ourselves the healing and happiness that we need. Okay, we're struggling with it. We're having a really hard time giving ourselves what it is we need. And it's because anytime that we're asked to walk away from something, there's so much doubt that clouds our minds. Fear of change, of what may be, of what we're leaving behind, of what we're giving up. There's just a lot of fear blocking us there. And as a result, we are in a bit of a challenge right now to actually give ourselves what it is that we need. Okay? So maybe we're not walking away. Maybe we're actually choosing to stay, but we're being guided to walk away. And the cards want you to know that what it is that the reasons why you're staying, why you're not giving yourself the opportunities, or you're not going towards those things to give yourself that personal healing and happiness, is your commitments. All tied up is you tied up with your own bonds, your excuses, your commitments. Oh, I can't do that because. Well, if we feel responsibility for something, it's what we commit ourselves to. Okay? It's a choice. So even though they might be really big commitments, like, well, I've got this great big contract at work, how is that a choice? Well, it is, because you're choosing to work at that place. You can choose to end it at any time. Yes, you might have to question whether or not your resources get met in terms of food and housing and whatnot, but it's still a choice that we can change. And the fear of what it might mean to let go of those bonds, of those commitments that we've tied ourselves down to, is really holding us back. So we really need to check ourselves in terms of what we're holding ourselves down with, okay? How we've tied ourselves up. In our opportunity spot is Goddess of the Moon. She is our opportunity to connect with the higher self and with intuition, okay? And interesting that it's coming up on the full moon. It tells me that during this full moon, we're probably going to be just presented with an opportunity to really make a connection with higher self and with that intuition, specifically during this full moon right now, right at this moment. Let's see what else it says here. So there's a connection with our power. Okay, so Magician in the Mirror So the magician, I mean, if you just think of a magician, you think of somebody who has a lot of power, magic, can just conjure anything up. He just thinks it and makes it come to life, right? He brings it into reality. So that's what the balance here is. On one side, which is more of the blue energy here, is more of the, I guess, the yin energy, where he just needs to think it up, just needs to visualize it. And on the other side, more of that heated, fiery yang energy is materialize it. So you have to think it, visualize it, and then manifest it, okay? So it's a balance of those two things. The mirror is understanding that everything that we create is a reflection of ourselves, of the things that we need, that we want. Everything that we create tells us something about ourselves and our state of mind, okay? So as we connect to our higher selves, we're going to make more of a connection with this magician guy here, and we're going to tap into that power within ourselves to think it and create it, okay? Now, in the strength spot is the thinking woman. I get the vibe that this is the idea of education here. She's a teacher. She's got her nose in a book. Well, not technically her nose in a book. She's looking actually at us, the viewer. But she has a book open in her hand. She is definitely studying, learning. She even kind of looks like she's in a very old library kind of place, made of stone. And it's very peaceful. I don't get the idea that this is part of the stress here. So let's see what else we can find out about this thinking woman here. Okay, so whatever it is that she's connected to here, if it's study, education, the role of a teacher, whatever that may be, it is attached to Gabriel and the fifth chakra. Now, both kind of attributes there are about truth and speaking your truth, knowing your truth, saying it, also going towards it. The trumpet there kind of is that you've heard a call. You suddenly have the deepest, not even desire, it's you literally can't stop yourself. You have to go towards something. You've heard a call, whether that's an opportunity in life or change that you're making. But I feel like as we know our truth, we get that call, because when we understand the truth about ourselves, we know the changes that we have to make, and we hear the call, okay, to make that change. So, education, teaching, whatever this is directly connected to speaking your truth, okay, and hearing that call of your truth. And that's in our strength spot. And I suppose, I mean, as far as if you want to know why that's in our strength spot, when you feel your truth, that can be a very strong place of, it can just be a place of strength. Let me rephrase that. There's no questioning in our minds. We're not sitting there trying to weigh pros and cons about something. We feel our truth. We know what must be done. And it's a very strong place to come from. Yeah. So, last spot here. Interesting, we got another character card, the other woman holding coin. She represents stability, security, confidence. She often holds the door to many opportunities. So if this is us in these positions, okay, we might be just needing to embody those things. Teacher, education, whatnot, learning, versus that confident, stable, secure, excuse me, not hurting for resources, certainly, in this card. It looks like that's what we're headed towards, is a place where resources have become more stable. And that's if we're in that position. Otherwise, we're going to be dealing with these two people somehow. A teacher, educator, someone connected to learning, and a person who's connected to opportunity and resources for us. Okay? Could be either way. And the reason why, and I think this just even further emphasizes that this is actually us moving towards being in this position, is the angel of balance. We have been out of balance. We haven't necessarily had our resources all in check. We haven't felt that confidence and security that we're feeling like we're lacking. yeah, it just, there's balance needs to be restored here, and it looks like that is what all of this is moving us towards. And that doesn't really surprise me, given that we've been looking at the healing and happiness cards kind of coming up, rest and rejuvenation. A lot of it's just sort of telling me that we're moving towards rebalancing. Interesting seeing actually the anxiety come right up beside the rest and rejuvenation. One of the things I often will tell my clients, or even just friends and family, is that if you're having anxiety, even though it can be a very scary thing at first, meditation helps greatly with anxiety. It's really difficult to sit with the self when you're in a state of anxiety and to go inward, because it's almost like, well, when you're in a state of anxiety, it's that fight or flight response, right? You just want to move. So when you stop and go inward, it's the exact opposite of what your body is telling you to do. So it's a very panicky moment. But when you sit with it and stay with it, it relaxes and gets better, and you find a place that just sort of dissipates a lot of that stuff. It takes us out of that stress, that vortex that we can get ourselves caught up in. Now let's see what the last message from Spirit is for all of us. Connecting with family this moon cycle. So for the next couple of weeks, we are going to be connecting with the people that we consider family, whether that's blood family or the people that we just simply consider family, whatever the fact may be. But we're going to be making those connections more during this full moon and full moon cycle for the next couple of weeks. Okay? And I don't know, I feel like the cards are just saying, like, don't question it. If you feel like you just want to go visit family, or if maybe you're stressed about visiting family right now, the cards are just kind of giving the go as far as, you need this. You need to connect with family right now, and just maybe they're going to help you with making some connections or getting the energy moving in certain regards, or maybe they'll even be connections and resources. Maybe the family is going to be connected with these two women here. Who knows? Yeah, I think that's it. I'll pan you back up here. Okay. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed the reading. I hope you got something from the messages that came through for each of you. If you'd like to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, check me out at Shining Empathy. Yeah, I think that's about it. So I am going away. So here, okay. So I am going to be away in a couple of weeks. I think I will be able to submit the new moon reading before I leave. But after that, I may or may not be submitting the full moon reading while I'm away. All right, I'm gonna try, but can't guarantee it. So if it doesn't go up and you've been looking forward to it, apologies for that. But we all have to do. We all got to take care of ourselves. So yeah, until next time, everybody. I will see you then. Love and light to you all. Bye for now.